7-day, everybody. It's
Happy
been
and 7-day.
yeah, it's been like more than a month since we last did a play and talk. Life got in the way and stuff, especially for Shadowhawk here.
Yeah, so far, plenty of things though. Between my life though, therapy, working out more, and essentially just self-improvement.
Self-improvement, important for everybody. All right, do you got the invite?
Yeah, I did get the invite. Am I not showing up there? Yeah, because keep in mind, this is my first time actually playing Mass Effect 3's multiplayer, because I actually didn't get into Mass Effect until 2017, because when I was seeing all the craze on Andromeda, so I decided to first start out from the beginning. And so I was like, yeah, I'm getting into it, and I was basically just like super in shock with it though. Wait, what? It's saying that I don't have all the DLCs with it.
Oh yeah.
I thought that I actually did download.
Yeah. In the meantime, we can talk while you get your DLCs ready. The multiplayer DLCs are free. And
yeah, I know.
Over the month,
I thought I got
a whole lot of news happened, both good and bad. The funniest thing that happened when that Sony and Disney reached a deal for Spider-Man to appear in 2 more movies set in the MCU. One of his own movie, and the other in another MCU-related movie. The day after we did our stream. Timing.
Yes. So I would certainly say from all that, though, hey, I'm at least glad though it's for that, so that way we at least can get more of those movies for it. So I'm like, hey, well, good for everyone involved then.
Yeah.
At least for coming to the deal, I wasn't surprised that it happened, but even still, just because I'm not surprised, I'm not going to act bad about it. And I do often find it very stupid when these people try to act like this was all orchestrated from all this. Guys, come on, nobody would end up trying to do
it was
that
already
stuff.
been solved, and from what I've heard, Tom Holland actually played a part in it.
I mean, I'm not doubting for that, though. I mean, after all, so far, Spider-Man is pretty much the big thing that his career is hinging on right now. So, of course, though, he'd have a very invested interest in it. But hey, I'm just glad that it ended up working.
And he really played Spidey. I kind of like that version. And what else? Whew. Have you seen some of the news stuff for The Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I've seen all the new promotional material for it. I'm personally very excited on that.
Yeah.
Also very excited for Disney Plus, which is coming out in just a few days. I will say sorry for you guys in the UK who so far don't have a release date named yet, or in the case of, I believe it's in Australia and New Zealand, where they get theirs a week after we do.
Oof. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But
yeah,
what can you do?
It really does, though. Because definitely, though, I know that I'm getting it the absolute day it comes out, though.
Yeah, I pre-order for Disney Plus, and I get a free week.
How do you pre-order for that? Because I've honestly not been sure how you can do that.
Yeah, there's a pre-order thing. I'll see if I can send you a link to it. Yeah, really excited for like stuff like Mandalorian. And have you seen their here's a list of stuff that we're gonna have on Disney Plus. 3 hours long. Holy shit.
Yeah, so there's that, and then also also because next week also comes out Jedi Fallen Order, which when I get paid tomorrow, I'm definitely pre-ordering that game.
Yeah. Ooh,
for that, because so for me, just really very excited to go and have all that, though, because it's just something that I really am excited for. Originally, I wasn't really initially excited for The Mandalorian. I was more of just like oh, this seems cool, though. So at least, though, kind of happy to go and see that. But then when I saw more of it, and especially more promotion material came out, I was just like, wow, actually, this thing is looking really good, though. And also, just based on everything I'm seeing, it's looking like it's going to be a very fantastic game. So I'm like, hey, awesome for it.
Yeah. Awesome, right? Alright, so I'm trying to think of something else. Oh. The Joker movie came out early last month, and why I have negative interest in the movie, and I just like mock the shit out of it for being a pretentious Oscar bait movie. And the director Todd
I
Phillips.
will be honest with you, your feelings weren't wrong on it. I did see it with some friends though, on around I think it was like a month after it came out. Which, hey, I was willing to keep an optimistic view of it because I don't see why not to have that. So for me, I was just like, hey, I'll still keep an open mind. This could potentially be good on it. And I saw the movie, and yeah, it was pretty freaking pretentious on the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not even made more that when Jenny Nicholson made a YouTube video that was about it, and freaking Mahler of all people though, which didn't shock me,
made a 11-hour movie, 11-hour video, like 11 hours. Who the fuck?
Well, to be more precise, 11 hours and 44 minutes. So just under 12 hours, actually.
Half a day. Who in their right mind would do that?
And the amount of people who I saw in those comments who were trying to say like, "Oh my God, like, do you not have an attention span?" Bitch, if a good attention span means you could sit through that, or at least just if not sitting through it means that you have a bad attention span, man, I wonder what you consider a good, let alone great attention span. Because there is no way I could sit in a video for 12 hours. I consider a bad attention span more like when you can't even pay attention to something that's a movie length, like something like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours at least I'm more of understanding for, because 3 hours is admittedly pretty long to watch something
Endgame, the second chapter of It.
Or the Lord of the Rings movies, like things like that.
Especially the extended version, it's like...
those could be 3.5 hours long. So I'm like, okay, if you can't sit through that, I can understand that. But like, to expect anyone to sit for 44 minutes, especially when even the people who were trying to defend it were shooting themselves in the foot and hands multiple times.
How?
Well, they only talk about her for 5 to 6 hours. Then what the fuck is the other like 5 to 6 hours for? Or 5 to 6 hours and 40 minutes.
How did the SJWs are ruin everything for everybody? Yee!
And especially when Nicholson's points were actually pretty on point with my own, especially with how this movie, pretty much as I said,
and she actually showed a segment of like a couple guys cheering after the Joker shot Robert De Niro's character in the face.
Yeah, Murray Franklin from it. Because like, even from watching that, like, she raises a great point where this movie ends up raising like topics and questions, but really doesn't have anything to say on them. Yeah. As I was even responding to someone with, it's pretty much like as bad as Batman v Superman in that sense, which does pretty much the same thing. It goes, send me another invite, like where it mentions things though, where it brings up topics like, what is Superman's purpose to humanity? Can he really be trusted? Should he be killed just because of the fact that he could, if he wanted to, kill or enslave humanity? Batman's ascent into being a very broken veteran. It's like, okay, sure, a lot of that sounds pretty cool though in concept. Yeah, but it doesn't answer any of that stuff.
We get Martha and
in the case of Joker, it does the same thing. A prime example is early on in the movie where Joker's Medicare ends up being cut off, but it doesn't do anything to the plot. Cutting the Medicare doesn't like end up being the reason that he goes insane. He goes insane for plenty of other reasons. Oh, so so there's that.
So what were the other causes? I honestly don't give a fuck about spoilers for that movie.
Yeah, well, it's a month by now, so at this point, if you're interested in seeing it, I'm pretty sure you would have known what happened by now. I only have a thing to where, barring The Mandalorian, because I feel like it's as a TV show, it's something that you're supposed to talk about each episode. So for me, my main thing is that with a movie, I give it about a month before I start talking about it. Like, me and you, we're not going to talk about Rise of Skywalker until the new year, so that we can give people enough time to go and watch it.
Though we will give our thoughts on the movie when it comes out. Not spoilerly, of course.
Yeah, we'll say our thoughts on it, whether we thought it was good. I mean, honestly, I'm convinced that it's going to be really good. So far, a lot of it looks really solid. And so far, I just think, though, that JJ's going balls to the walls with it. So I'm like,
and some people,
some
people are convinced that Ryan. Oh, speaking of Star Wars, you heard the guys behind Game of Thrones. I forgot the names. They're not doing
Benioff and Weiss. Yeah, I know who you mean. How they were kicked off from it. Truth be told, I don't really see how there are people who could be angry with it when the same. We'll go back to the Joker one, but we'll talk about this one briefly.
Yeah, I'm switching over to public, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think we're good. Like how the people who were trying to ultimately try to act like, oh my god, like Kathleen's incompetent. What I'm like, guys, you were saying not even a month ago how you were super worried about what their trilogy was going to be, and saying about how, oh my god, it's probably gonna bomb though. These guys don't know what they're doing. And
Just
then when she's
because,
like,
just
you know,
because
maybe
of a 8th season not being liked by a lot of people, just like.
it also doesn't help when they basically admitted in a panel that they didn't even read the books of the show that they were adapting, so they were basically winging it.
Which is
Like it's not even. No, I'm sorry. Continue.
So if they were hired to do an adaptation of the book, why didn't they read the book in the first place?
Again, that's what puzzles everyone. Like Jessie Lamb even actually said, I don't know if it's Lamb or Lam. I always keep not sure how her last name is pronounced. Where basically she was even saying the same thing for that, where she's just like, if anyone else saw that, you would have been kicked out of that panel without a second thought. And even said about like how it is infuriating how they were managed to be that lucky to base it how they managed to go with what they did, despite having no real background in the book that was there. I mean, yeah, that's like freaking insane though. And honestly, even though, because I didn't watch season 8 of Game of Thrones, hell, I haven't even watched anything from season 2 to 8, because I only saw the first season like several months ago, just out of curiosity. It was good, but I'm not sure I'm willing to sit through another 8 to 10 episodes, each one at just about an hour or an hour and 10 minutes long each. So I was like, yeah, I'll pass on it. But even though it was still good, nevertheless. So I was just like, okay, fine with it though. I was willing to give them a shot the same way I give any filmmaker a shot. But after that panel, that was when I'm like, oh, this is feeling really dicey right now.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why they got kicked out?
I'm starting to think that is the case, and I'm pretty sure there are other reasons.
Yeah,
and I really
the guys actually did a deal with Netflix, and this seems pretty sour with them, which probably contributed to that.
I could imagine so, because from what I saw, they signed on to a lot of different projects, but were not really, were apparently taking more work than they could, I guess, take. So for it, again, I couldn't really go and pretend as if, like, oh my god, so immoral, that they could end up being dropped like it. And honestly, I really dislike this notion that a lot of people I often see have, where they basically just go and try to act like for some stupid reason that directors are pretty much the default thing and that you should not really question their judgments.
Right,
again, I go with how
the producers, you made it.
Yeah, like that's what I end up saying with it though. Like I often think though as to how smart it more or less sounded when the DCEU started though. Like I often think of, even though I know of your feelings on them though, where Movie Paul basically described as to how it is and how it sounded when Man of Steel was coming together. Okay, so you get the executive producer who basically made the best Batman movies that a lot of people like, and you get the director to be someone that a lot of fans seem to love, and especially because his action scenes are like very hard to match because he's just really good at this stuff. So it seemed like a no-brainer. This was going to be awesome. Then Man of Steel came out, and a lot of people felt mixed about it. Most people hated the ending. I still remember that much, with how much people threw a fuss over that ending.
Oh yeah.
From that,
I remember.
So it was just like a lot of people hated that, and also it was a hit, but it didn't make the sort of money that Warner Brothers was hoping it was going to make.
Where even Ant-Man made more money than Superman. Think about it.
I mean, that movie made something like, I think it was like $800-something million at the box office. Look, I would say, if I'm to be real with it, Batman v Superman, at least though, from like, because of how was that not a disappointment, that's a movie that should have grossed about as much as The Force Awakens, possibly even more. That was a highly anticipated matchup between two of the world's most popular and beloved superheroes, and it somehow only did as much as only, even at the time, a standard Marvel movie. When that's the sort of thing that'd be their equivalent of, like, again, because the movie was like very badly received, and from what I watched of it, it was pretty right on pretty much a lot of those points. Like, I watched it though, and I was going with an open mind, the same way I do with any movie, regardless of what I hear about it. And it was like, oh my god, it was bad on that one. And so for that, I can't really say that just because Benioff and Weiss made one season that a lot of people liked. And even from what I hear though, especially of it, is that even a lot of the beloved scenes of the show were adapted directly from the book. So really, they don't even get entire kudos there either.
Yeah, like I said, writers, producers, you name it.
So people really gotta stop acting like directors are these end-all be-alls, though, and especially, yeah, to freaking do away with the freaking auteur theory on all of that. So for it, though, it's just things like that. But just to quickly backtrack onto the Joker one, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just from seeing it, though. Like, yes, I would say that Joaquin Phoenix basically was really awesome in the role, even if ultimately his character wasn't very good. I would say, though, that he was honestly really solid in the role.
Yeah.
He really managed to sell it, even if his character was hyper inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I really feel like if he was ever nominated for a Best Oscar nomination, I'd honestly be totally for it. I would say that if it was done, though, I wouldn't raise any objections. The only one I would raise an objection to is if Lupita Nyong'o does not end up getting a Best Actress nomination for her role in Us. That, for me, is when I'll throw issues.
Yeah, that's the consensus I get from
Like,
a lot
the
of
best
people
way
I
to
trust.
describe her role in Us, like, imagine if an actor simultaneously played
two
both
characters.
Michael Myers and Laurie Strode.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the consensus I got with the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is the good chunk of the role, but everything else seems to be,
I mean, it's just for that. And also, it's pretty misogynist in its whole thing, though, where basically the entire thing is that even though this movie wants to go and say that society created Joker, when in reality, it puts his mother as the cause of all of his problems. So the movie seems very confused as to who it wants to put the central blame on. Is it, the blame, is it basically his mother, who apparently, as it was done, though, so to give a quick recap on the whole mother thing. See, what happened was that Arthur is initially under the impression that Thomas Wayne is his illegitimate father because his mom was basically saying that she was that. But when he actually goes and confronts, oh shit, were you killed too?
Nope, we failed the mission.
Oh shit. Again, I've never played this, so I'm essentially just winging it on this one.
If you played the multiplayer for Andromeda, it should be familiar.
Familiar? Okay.
Yeah, missions every couple waves, retreat at the end, except that it's 10 waves instead of like 6.
Oh well. So yeah, that was just as far as things there, though, because that was the thing that felt most frustrating with me with it, which is that it seems like it has all of these ideas that it more or less wants to go and say, but it doesn't do anything with them, which is honestly what really disappoints me. It's the same issue that I saw with Genesis, though, and yes, we'll go talk about Terminator later. With that, though, where it brings up a very interesting concept of a Sarah Connor who ends up not wanting to go with this I just give birth to the guy who saves humanity thing and wants to take control of her own destiny. All right, awesome. And then the movie chickens out and basically just has her do the same thing that she was destined to do anyway. And Joker basically does the same thing. It wants to go in this thing where about, oh my god, how society is bad, though, and how it creates the monsters
and we
that
live
ends
in
up
society.
demonizing. But it's like, it doesn't end up really even portraying that. It's not supported by the text in any meaningful way. I mean, I saw one person who was trying to tell me, the person who was being a real ableist piece of shit that you responded to, like where it was trying to say, like, well, actually, it does support that. People in status end up laughing and mocking him. There's like 2 people in the movie who end up doing that. There's Murray Franklin and Thomas Wayne, but really, Thomas Wayne's whole anti-poor thing doesn't affect Arthur in any way. He doesn't much care or hold any positions toward him.
It's
he only cared about
a lot
Thomas
of people
just because...
like thought about Shinji and Evangelion. He's a passive character.
So, like, Arthur really doesn't care about that stuff because all he cared about with Thomas was like, oh my god, you're my dad because my insane mother told me that I'm related to you. And then in other cases, such as in the case of Murray Franklin, he doesn't really end up making fun of him because of something like, say, if he made fun of you for your autism, for instance. He just made fun of Arthur because he made some stupid jokes at a comedy club.
And Arthur Fleck complaining about like how people complain about his jokes and stuff. It's like, are you sure this is not Todd Phillips whining about how people don't like the Hangover movies nowadays?
Like, I swear to God, like, even Jenny brings up a great point, which is that in that very scene where Arthur as Joker ends up going to the Murray Franklin show, and someone says, you can't joke about stuff like that, that's offensive. Like, no, Todd Phillips, you did not just reference yourself in this scene. And yes, he actually references himself in that scene.
Why do you think that's a good idea, exactly?
Because he really thinks that he's a super funny guy, I guess.
My jokes are funny.
I mean, the first Hangover movie, which I remember when I watched years ago.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I'm talking like how when it first came out. It was funny to be there, but I don't really know how it holds up. And I'm getting the suspicion that I probably think, wow, that movie was trash if I went and watched it now.
Yeah.
So, for it, that's just what I feel of that, though, where he ends up having that, and it kind of was just exactly as Rob said in his review. It's basically a basic movie that thinks it's smart, and a basic movie, a stupid movie that thinks it's smart, and a basic movie that thinks it's complex. I mean, that's
the one thing that I had to do with this movie about, as much I kind of hate this, kind of like hate a lot of his other takes, which is a long story on that.
That's why I say with him, I like his cultural and a lot of his movie opinions, but I despise his politics, which is the main reason I keep a distance from him.
Yeah, I like watching
it.
Oh, I got this. Ooh, escort. At least the drone is invisible.
Wait, escort? Like, wait, what happens? I've never played this before.
Basically, we escort a combat a drone, and we have to keep it near in order for it to progress.
Oh, okay. Well, that's at least good to know, because, again, I've never actually played this multiplayer, so I'm new to all of this. Oh, wow, it's more active than I thought it was going to be. What the heck? I guess maybe that one DLC pack I apparently missed, I just finished everything.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I downloaded them all, but it turns out I only missed one, and that, like, now gets me into matches. Wow.
Which DLC?
I'm actually surprised how active. Man, this game actually surprisingly has at least an existing player base, which can't be said of most games this age.
And I think that it actually speaks to how well the Mass Effect series aged.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the gameplay, even when I played recently, because I'm not speaking as somebody who was a hardcore fan, I'm speaking as someone who, like, mostly got into it, like, only relatively recently. And yeah, the series surprisingly holds up. I would say Mass Effect 1's combat is a bit iffy, but really considering the context of it, I can see, like, because this was Bioware's, like, first attempt really at a shooter that at least I was aware of. So for it, though, it was still good, even if it just had a lot of dated elements. But 2 and 3 really managed to hold. They're really solid, though, even by today's standards.
Yeah, if you went to to play the recent Gears of War games that went back to this, what's the saying here? Like a duck to water.
Not sure though, honestly. Also, I just got a whole bunch of credits. I got like over 2,000.
Yeah, you spend these credits on loot boxes for characters and weapons and other stuff.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. It's kind of funny though, considering how this game's most praised element, aside from the multiplayer, was actually that loot box.
Yeah, the developers compared it to like trading cards. As what they actually.
I mean, that honestly feels like it makes sense. Honestly,
not necessarily gambling, but more like trading cards. We'll love to see how good of a arts are for
Yeah, and I like especially a lot of the comments I've been seeing Casey Hudson, some of the other Bioware guys have been making. Yeah, I mean, even if I would say that the Andromeda story was kind of a mess really for me, but I would still say that I really want to explore that era of the universe. And yeah, I just want more Mass Effect, and especially Outer Worlds has been showing how many people still really love that series.
Wait,
Again, I just really...
Yeah, speaking of Outer Worlds, I started playing Outer Worlds, and I swear to God, I haven't got very far yet, but I swear to God, I accidentally made my character look like Tony Stark.
I have to say, the game is like, I was just really loving it though. The only major issue I have is, unfortunately, there's some bug that prevents me from seeing the chairman though at the end of the game, so it freezes and I can't progress. So I'm hoping they fix that.
Bugs,
like, otherwise,
that's Obsidian for you. That's Obsidian for you. Can't have a game without game-breaking bugs.
Just really freaking great though, especially the companions though, especially Parvati, which, oh my god, I don't think I've ever felt so happy for a companion in a really long time, especially doing her side quests.
Yeah. Do you think she holds up? I haven't gotten very far with her. Do you think she holds up very well compared to, like, say, the most Bioware characters? And there's a cool lady, Soul Trooper. Hang on, let me headbutt him today.
Yeah, I would say it holds really well, and it was surprising that they actually had an asexual character in these for once, because I can't really think of a major game that had a canonically confirmed asexual character. Maybe at best there are some characters you could maybe think were that, but overall, I never really could say there was one canonically confirmed that comes to mind.
Though
so
those
I
are
imagine a lot of people would be
romantic.
happy about that.
If I remember right, being romantically interested and sexually interested, they're separate things. If I remember, somewhat separate things. They tend to intertwine, and there's a strong correlation. But you know what I mean. If I get it wrong, be sure to correct me on that. And in other really stupid news, you've heard about all the commotion surrounding breadtube? Holy shit!
Yeah, I've been only keeping up with it here and there, primarily just what you've been told me. Yeah, keep in mind that when we stream these things, we don't actually talk in things in order. We just talk whatever comes to our minds at the moment.
Yeah.
For that. But at least when we do so, our things aren't freaking 11 hours and 44 minutes long.
Hey-yo!
Just, oh my god, like, I don't usually like seeing it, but I'm just like, guys, please, get some friends, though, like, mainly friends outside of YouTube. Like, go date a girl, just do something.
Or a guy, or anyone else.
Than what these are.
Yeah.
Like, go date a girl or a guy or whoever it is that you're romantically interested in. Like, just do that, so that way we can all just, you can just have happy lives and not respond to people because, and Jenny's opinion on Joker wasn't even bad. It was just more of a, I just thought it just wasn't good. It was like as tame of an opinion as you can have.
So why do they overreact? Are their egos really that fragile?
See, as much as these people love to tell themselves about how non-emotional they are and they're all about the facts, like, these guys get hyper-emotional over anyone who either A, vaguely even references them, or B, mentions opinions that are different to theirs. Like, when The Last Jedi came out, they responded to virtually any movie, any sort of video that had a large following, and responded to it with freaking 5, 6, 7, 8 hour streams.
Why do they
when
do
the
these?
videos in question?
Why? Just why do they do it these? Why do they do it? I don't understand why they make it that long.
Look, it's ultimately primarily just because these people don't actually know how to respond to things. Because this is like when I was often watching anti-SJW YouTube content at the time, who also did stupid crap like that, except nowhere near as long, often like only 2 hours at most. Where these guys always feel the need to where when they're responding to things, to respond to every freaking line that the person says, but most dishonestly, they always cut it off before it's actually finished. So very often they only let someone speak like at most one sentence, then cut them off so that they can respond, and then go again. And they repeat this over and over and over.
They were responding to
and
a
very
straw
often,
man.
So and also even to add insult to injury, these people very often end up just not really even responding to what he's saying, but very often, as a lot of people were even saying who actually watched it, that it was just a whole lot of insults. Just basically insulting her appearance, the stuff around her room that was basically there, and all kinds of stupid stuff like that. And yet there are people who really want me to sit there, waste my time so I can watch a video like that when it's not even all that substantive, and especially with the, oh, it's not entirely about her, then why did you name the video specifically in response to her? That means
Then
that's
why
what's supposed to be
why
around
spend
it.
6 hours, which is half the time, of responding to her? What's the other half?
Her video wasn't even long, it was only like 33 minutes, I believe it was. So, like, it was either 33 or 34 minutes. Like, it was pretty quick, though. Like, I basically could go through, during, like, if I'm on an 8-hour shift, I could watch all that during lunch. So, it isn't even that bad.
I see it. Yeah, here's something. Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't even from that though. And again, she just considered it more of just mediocre rather than anything. She didn't even see it as super bad. Kind of the same thing. Where even if I think it's
well
bad,
made, but it's well made. The actor and Tricky Phoenix.
and it just pisses me off that how these people are somehow, by anyone on this website really, let alone being by thousands, taken seriously as honest critique for going on these long tangents that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Especially the constant insulting, and yet they want me to take them seriously on their objectivist stuff, though.
Oh,
so
like with
the
Library of the Damned and the riffing fanfiction stuff. Reminds me of that.
Pretty much. And especially, it's just that how these guys always act like how they're totally not emotional, but geez, Mahler is so freaking butthurt over anyone who ends up saying an opinion that's contrary to his. It's like he always feels like he has to be the freaking smartest guy in the room, which is why I say it's a cautionary tale of him, which is being smart is something that's fine, but geez, don't be such a tryhard about it. It will show, and especially because he's so insecure about his opinions. Doesn't also help that he may or may not be a flat earther too.
Wait, a flat earther? What are you talking about?
Yes, because when Lacking Saint ended up questioning him when he was using a comparison with flat Earth theory, and Mahler was seeming like he was trying to say something about opinions regarding it, and so Lacking Saint even said, "Wait, so do you believe or do you not believe in flat Earth?" And Mahler was dodging the question.
Oh, because if he admitted that, he would get flack.
So it's like, because again, he was never giving a straight answer to the topic. So for that, it was just like, okay, so it turns out he may or may not be. I mean, honestly, his silence on that is already, like, really alarming.
Yeah.
Like, if I ask someone, hey, do you just condemn Hitler? And they're not, and their answer is anything other than yes, then alarm bells start to go off with me.
Yeah, some study ratings find it's like, whoa, that's a bit of a question that caught me off guard, or I need source like I need to put the point.
And especially, I hate the dishonesty that I see a lot of their fans also say with it, like how they say, like, well, Jenny is more than happy to go on if she wants to respond. Yeah, so she can get dogpiled by 4 guests, so that way she'll inevitably end up leaving out of frustration, and then you will stupidly say how you were the winner. Because again, how do you think that's going to end? If there's 4 of you on the first, there's different people on, who's she gonna bring? Nobody except her was involved in the making of the video.
And it's a very, and she has a very shiny port, I can tell you that. And on, okay, someone
So like, Jenny Nicholson has no reason to sign up for it though. So again, it's just basically you guys having this false sense of like, oh yeah, we're totally being honest here, but there's just all these stipulations that are involved in it as well. Well then there's no point of being her going forward. There's no point of it whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, and back to breadtube and ContraPoints. Oh my.
As far as that,
the
general things I've seen of it, which,
it's a very, she said some very really questionable things, and she even like insulted H-Bomb guy because of the fact that he did a stream that support that fund merits the trans care facility.
I remember that though, so I'm like really him though? Like he seems like if anything, he's the best ally trans people have had, or at least the most famous one anyway.
Yeah, and ContraPoints is trashing him because people are mad at her for bringing in platforming someone who, as a matter of fact, actually outed one of Wazowski siblings before she was even ready. Lana Wazowski, if I remember right. Buck Angel is the guy who outed her. And so ContraPoints brought him to platform for a brief cameo on her recent video. And
that's not good.
And Buck Angel, if I remember, is true scum. Long story short, they did. I'm trying to remember this. It's really.
Wait, can I revive you?
No. Nemesis, not Nemesis, Space Ninja, the ninja in space, the Phantom, killed me to death.
Oh, okay. So back to what I was saying for there, yeah, because as far as the non-binary stuff, I don't really feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to really say anything
same
on
here,
there.
Trace. Yeah, same here. It's just like she didn't listen.
But
to
at least
these,
for
she
the
didn't listen to
trans
these people.
stuff,
She was being
yeah,
condescending, and she was a dismissive ass
like,
about it.
oh my god, all I did was say an opinion on that.
No, she actually like really, she really pissed people off with what she said. I'm sorry for going off board like this. It's just like.
No, it's fine though.
People have dismissed my disability, my autism, as an excuse for my behavior. So I know what it's like for non-binary. So I know what it's like for someone who's different, and be dismissed like that for like hell. Lizzie Ellis liked an article that implies that the non-binary community is criticizing her and others as like Gamergate 2.0.
Yeah, again, her saying stupid shit like that though, which was like again, it further showed that
And
like even if
God,
I often if I
and
can
god damn,
occasionally
and
find
considering what
myself
Lindsay
agreeing-
Ellis actually tweeted, like, I identify as X.
Yeah, like did you assume Ricky Gervais or something like that?
Yeah.
Which is so funny to me because she was always one to condemn that joke, but now was willing to use it against him.
If you fight fire with fire, you're gonna get yourself burned.
Yeah, that's what it is for Lindsay, where even if I will find myself occasionally liking her cultural opinions, such as often the Disney live-action movies, seeming
I just ignore
to really focus too much on the trying to empower women angle and not really ever addressing a lot of the racial history. Like, those are more worthy of criticisms, but especially on her more politics one, it's just she can be so stupid on those. And very often, like with ContraPoints, like this is something I've often noticed when it comes to her criticisms, is that she's virtually only able to criticize only white cis people, basically. I mean, white women also she's willing to, though, but mainly just white cis people. And when she starts to get to people who she's criticizing who don't fit into either that or not just very outsized right-wingers, then she basically finds herself unable to really do anything.
Yes, like ContraPoints or Lindsay Ellis, just want to make sure.
Yeah, Lindsay Ellis in particular, though, like, when it starts to involve people who are basically not so hypocrites, like, say, if it's not a white cis person, or even if it's someone who doesn't fall into that, like, say, they're really, like, say someone like Blair White, where even though she's a trans woman, she basically asserts every single right-wing talking point you can imagine. So it's sort of like a case where it's like, at least in cases like that, like she's willing to criticize, but really just because they fall into the right area of it. If you remove those two things, she pretty much is unable to really go and criticize it, though, even though she has no qualms having her doing something. But the moment that involves a trans person or black people in general, now it's like the nerve pretty much goes away, and she walks herself
or any other person of color. Yeah. I used to be friends with Peter Coffin. You know, you heard of him, right? I used to know him.
I think I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, we got along pretty fun and really now setting back to each other. Even like some of the stories, even like how I did this description. Here's where the used to part comes in. It was back during the nomination process for the Democratic candidate back in 2016. Each with Bernie and with Hillary, and it has gotten it was so.
Even if I find myself, I would say from that 2016 one, even if I feel like I was too harsh on Bernie specifically, though, it was just that Bernie fans are by far the worst. Well, almost feels like the worst ones, though.
They're still the worst.
Of the Democratic,
they're still the worst.
Presidential supporters.
They're still the worst. Believe me. Yeah, we haven't really talked about politics
much.
Like,
they're almost no different, really, than Trump supporters, honestly. They remind me too much of them.
Yeah. So everything about the breadtube thing is just like a dumpster fire. And I'm glad that they decided to like block and mute most of them. It's like, I don't need these people in my life, and I really regret liking them so much. Like
I don't really so much regret liking them so much, especially because they have cultural opinions I often end up liking. But quite frankly, they just demonstrate that despite whatever principles they claim to have, they really end up not really... When it comes down to it, though, they end up not really being that much different. I mean, sure, they're better than alt-righters, though. I mean, at least they haven't killed anybody.
Yeah.
Either that or basically mass harass others. But it's sort of like basically saying, well, having a broken arm and a broken leg is better than having both arms and both legs broken. Ooh. But how about we just have, how about we try to have none of that, or at least as little of that as we can?
Yeah, it's... God damn.
Like, as far as it, though, like, at the very least, though, for bringing a lot of the criticisms, which I'm at least glad there has been a resurgence of people pushing back against that. But, again, though, this is always the thing why I try to be very wary of movements that I try to end up supporting. Because if it ends up Because if I end up just going onto it, though, I want to make sure that what I'm supporting is actually a good thing and not just basically just the same, but just maybe a different
when
kind
I
of
saw that
basically.
ContraPoints is leaving Twitter again, it's like, good. They'll let the door hit you on the way out. I'm really
And especially it comes from a lot of the people who really don't feel, who often can't end up criticizing her. The quite simple answer for that is primarily because she's a trans woman. And I find that because of that, a lot of these people end up feeling like if they end up criticizing her, they're going to be seen as effectively transphobic. I mean, it has no basis in reality, but it doesn't
I'm calling her
stop them
out
from
on the
believing
fact
it.
that she's an asshole. Nothing more, nothing less.
Oh yeah, this version of the map is from the Retaliation DLC.
Yeah, that explains why it is that I wasn't able to get matches then.
You didn't have the
So
Retaliation
from it,
DLC.
it's just like, yeah, things like that, though. Even when I first saw ContraPoints, though, even if she had some politics I agree with, she, even from the beginning, came across to me as the same kind of shitty person, just on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, how do you know that even before all this shit happened, like, is it because, like...
She just more or less gave me that vibe and gave me
same.
that sort of feeling where it's like, because she's a trans person, she effectively feels that any sort of person who ends up disagreeing with her views was effectively just being a sort of either transphobe or just someone who doesn't get it, man. She always gave me those kind of vibes, even from the very beginning.
I thought you said he
and
for a
this
sec.
whole thing is...
Is it slip up? Just want to make sure.
No, I didn't, though. No, I didn't slip up. I was just doing the same, just like, yeah, she gives me that, like, oh man, like, if you end up disagreeing with me, it's because you don't really understand me, or whatever sort of self-righteous bullshit she'll tell herself.
Yeah.
Again, this is why, like, when people say, like, about both-sidism thing, look, as much as I also don't like those arguments, I'm not one to completely write it off, and yes, we have to make sure that the movements we are supporting are actually better, and that we're not just having basically the same system, but we're pretty much just swapping one bad for another.
Yeah, the king is dead. Love
like,
the
often
king,
think
etc., etc.
Yeah, essentially. Like, I think essentially, even if, like, not really related to this, sort of like, with Fallout New Vegas between House and Yes Man, though, the so-called independent ending isn't really an independent ending. It's just basically swapping out one autocrat house for another for the courier, and it feels the same way with this, with what I don't want. I don't want to basically just swap out exactly who's holding the cards. I want to actually, like, change the whole thing altogether.
I don't recall the Independent Vegas having you take over New Vegas. It's just like Chaos Reign, that sort of thing.
But like, really, things don't really end up being different from House, which is why a lot of the endings are the same. Because it's more or less still basically the same. Just that maybe yes, no, it's the autocrat, but it doesn't really end up mattering. But I'm saying, like, even if it's not super related, it's kind of how it reminds me in that sense, where it ends up just being more of the same.
While the contrast between NCR and Cosmos Legion, as well as the NCR, it's like night and day.
So, like, yeah, I want to make sure that any groups I support are actually of those same changes. Yeah. Where it's not that I'm just doing something and just doing the same. That's why I support Elizabeth Warren, because she doesn't come across as someone who's totally lines. She's actually looking like she's trying to go with some very changing legislation, and more power to it.
Yeah. No, I know we're getting politics. If it comes to, like, between her and Joe Biden, I actually like them both.
We're not going to go into politics.
Yeah, I just want to mention as an aside, like, if it comes to between those two, I might as well just, like, flip a coin if the primary comes to Utah. If it comes to that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, not to get sidetracked on that, but really I would say for me, that's just the main thing on that whole bit of it, especially with breadtube, because it's like, yes, even if they ultimately have plenty of things that I do agree with, and even if they do end up having points though, but the problem is that their attitudes and their actions, and especially how they act with each other, it really ends up not being the same, not being any differently. Yeah. It follows more or less the same stream, just with a different flavor, basically. Yeah. It's just on the other side of the aisle, and I don't want that.
And I admit, I actually did some asshole streams my time and stuff. I'm not perfect, but there's a thing called making
Again, when it comes to any content creator, I don't ask for perfection on any of that, though. I mean, look, you're going to have things that I'm not going to like, have beliefs that I strongly disagree with, etc. That's just going to happen. I would never expect let alone want anything different. But the difference, though, is that this isn't about a perfection thing. It's instead supposed to become more about
morality,
effectively the morality thing. So for me, that's what it ultimately ends up coming down to. And Natalie Wynn, though, she's not really demonstrating to be switchable, even if she's always on this thing of wanting to.
And once it's lost, Natalie Wynn is ContraPoints.
Yeah, I just only saying her real name, though, because that's just what came to mind. So that's what it ultimately ends up feeling in a lot of times. It's just you're just basically just acting the same thing. Sure, you don't really have the violence you have in the past, but that's the only thing separating you from the alt-right as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I remember getting a bit of flack from a couple people on the Discord because I said.
Although she apparently, as you showed me, she apparently does hold the anti-Semitism of the alt-right.
Yeah, it turns out that the list of conspiracy theme has some anti-Semitic themes. Yikes! I don't.
So, showing she probably didn't do her research on that when she was wanting to basically do her whole character thing.
Yeah. So both her and Missy Ellis hopefully are best are just like a bunch of idiots or just idiots at best. At worst, she did put on Bug Angel and Trace them at one point on the other world. I got proof.
I mean, I always just say, especially as I think with Lindsay Ellis, and I'm like, I just think with her and if she was in my case, I would just say, let's just be clear about something. If what Natalie Wynn ended up doing, if you just swapped her with Ben Shapiro and with that whole Buck Angel situation, let's be honest, you would have wanted to have it torn apart at every single point that you possibly could. But because it's your friend doing it, you're more than happy to let that slide.
A part of what I believe, part of being friends is calling out on their shortcomings and have them do the best to improve on that. These are. I don't think these would be true friends. They would just be like ass kissers, just like wagging circling or whatever.
Again, that's the problem I currently have with breadtube, though, is that the only people that are willing to criticize are either straight cis white people, or they end up with being white people.
And there's anything wrong with that because plenty of them are assholes. You know what I mean? It's that.
Of course. I mean. But it's just that the problem is that when you start to step into someone who is, like, say, they are someone like either a person of color or they fall into the LGBT sort of area of. Wow, I'm not really saying this right now. I'm trying to think what's the best way of putting that. Within that spectrum, that's what I should say. Within the LGBTQ plus spectrum, like somebody who falls into that, or whoever else, though, again, who doesn't fall into that either right-winger or straight cis one, though, because they are willing to criticize someone like either someone who's trans or black, but mainly only if they're right-wingers who are pretty much espousing the right-wing talking, which for me is like, here's
something that's really funny. A lot of breadtubers are also white and cis. And ContraPoints is their token trans person.
I mean, I don't doubt that they sincerely believe in the things that ContraPoints says, but the problem is that they're too willing to idolize her just because she's trans.
She's a person.
I mean, which is why she can say this. Yeah. Which is why she says all the things that she says, and yet these people aren't really willing to criticize, solely because of the fact that they don't want to see trans photos.
Heads up, there's Banshee. There's a Banshee. Banshees are bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I got one of our rando players. And MovieBot also defended ContraPoints. And then I make a piece like okay humor. Yeah, which really
for that. I'm kind of sick of the meme for it, but
yeah, I'm now sick of the meme, but I just couldn't do it. There's not proof for it, though.
I just only. It just again comes from that, though, and this is why I always said for it, which for my therapist probably have to say in some sense or another, which is that there's one thing with me I ever want, like say, if the games industry job that I'm trying to go for ends up being successful, where if I'm ever well known, the one thing I probably want to promote over and over, never ever view me as a sort of hero, symbol, icon, whoever. I do not want that. And ContraPoints is pretty much a perfect example of why. Because you end up, when they end up screwing up, you're pretty much not willing to ever criticize them on that, and you'll be more than happy to excuse any flaws that they demonstrate. And I don't want that.
Yeah. There's a lot that to be said about the thing, and so far we don't have the right background, so to speak, about it. So,
I mean, again, with a lot of the trans stuff, I always try to make sure that I try to speak out of blame, but really for this isn't really so much involving trans people in any sort of other sense, but primarily just as far as people goes.
My take is basically like to listen, just listen and be there for them. And I just want to do my best to.
I mean, that's what I try to do with people. And with trans people, I try to make sure to be support with them if I think that my support is something that will actually benefit them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that from a lot of the stuff there, it just always feels like, I mean, why are you people trying to act on principle if apparently you're not even willing to go and do that?
Principles. It's interesting. I think I said it before, and how.
Basically. And that's from it, though. I mean, as far as these things, we just have to make sure that whatever movements that are there, I mean, if there are new movements that end up coming out, though, I say I'm not really against by any means of just trying to give new movements a shot, though, especially if it seems like they're actually starting to go against people that I'm wanting to see taken down from it. But the problem is that I'm not really seeing something that's different in any meaningful way.
Yeah. It would be the kind of nice for like people like ContraPoints being taken down a notch, just because of their. I'm sorry, I'm just venting at this point.
Because of where exactly they fall into it. Yeah, I know you're trying to make sure you don't say the wrong thing. Where it's like, yeah, where she ends up hiding essentially because she's trans. Though,
yeah, she's just shying away from her responsibility to be a better person. Stop striking yourself down. Damn it. I even haven't said it because. Yeah, why don't we change the topic? It's making me really angry and probably a little stressed.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, again, like this is an unscripted podcast. So.
Everything is unscripted.
Well, stream, I should say.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I always want to say, because unlike Mahler with it, we don't actually try to put ourselves as any particular topic. It's again exactly as it says. Play and talk though. We play games and then we just talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. And if we go off topic, so be it.
Yeah. And since it's Anthem Day, we're playing Mass Effect 3, there's going to be a lot of Mass Effect related stuff to it. So let's.
Man, I have to say, if I actually was into Mass Effect when this game came out, I feel like this is the sort of multiplayer game I would have pretty much been like binging with my friends all the time.
Yeah, same. Wait, who's down? Who's down? Like, who got killed?
Looks like everybody's down, honestly.
I'm gonna end up like Captain America.
I was trying to revive someone, but I couldn't seem to do it. I'm not sure why I wasn't able to.
I'm restoring myself. Just a brood and it's too risky.
Yeah, I see it. Well, I couldn't revive that guy, so I'm
okay,
sorry
the brood.
I couldn't make it.
Yeah,
like this multiplayer is actually very fun.
Yeah, how do you think? I know that comparison seems a little silly, but how do you think the multiplayer holds up compared to Andromeda? It actually, I
didn't really ever play Andromeda's one though, mainly just because I never felt interested. But it was just something that was never really.
I'm the last one standing. That's great. I was too late. I'm sorry. Oh god, this. Unlike Captain America in Endgame, yeah. Well, no cavalry with the portals and stuff. Oh, speaking of like Marvel and stuff, have you heard about Martin Scorsese's take on Marvel news?
Look, I always say when it comes to that, I totally get as to why exactly he could be on that whole saltiness of it, mainly because of just how it's one thing, definitely something that everyone will ask him about. Just virtually every director who has any sort of clout, so to speak, gets asked about it. And from that, though, I can see how it's not his thing.
He becomes going on like how they're the people that naughty, real movies. He said that's not my thing in the first place. It would have had a lot less clout, and instead he just comes to like this nudie old man yelling at clouds thing. Yeah, he's a good director. He's a good director. He's a good movie maker. But that's really stupid about that this take is it's right for mocking if you don't mind me saying it. Know what I mean? And I kind of wish that that journalists would stop with these just to get more clicks. It's like
look, guys, it's done and
you
over
realize
with.
you're gonna
He said his opinions. Can we just like move on with it? Like, look, I get it though. He's a great filmmaker. Yes, I think that he makes great movies though. But he's definitely done his work in helping other people realize that they're doing something, other women and people of color. So it certainly has actually helped there too. So for it though, it's not like at all he hasn't done so. Yes, even if he hasn't been diverse in casting, more than good enough, he has been making sure that the people that he supports those he's producing are very much have been very diverse for that. And honestly, I really applaud him for that.
Yeah, Dark Dragon's down again. It must not be very good. Maybe point to
I mean, so is whoever the Rex guy is, though. Like, Rex 1, whatever number that is, though, that's pretty long to read. Yeah, it's just that so far he's been going down a lot, too.
And so are you.
The Banshee, though, and also sucks because my weapons are really weak, though. Like, I have base weapons, and you guys have, like, freaking super powerful ones.
This is even more powerful than I have. I'm just like doing like charge noble charge. Mainly it's and those also missile launchers. Michael Campbell has actually asked me to like what I'd like to see next for Mass Effect, and my answer is surprise me.
My answer here, as I always say, look, this is the problem I always have whenever I see YouTube videos that always say, like, what X game should have, needs to have, whatever. And I'm like, dude, just, like, leave yourself an open mind. You could find yourself loving something entirely. Like, again, if I were to say that The Last Jedi is a great instance, when I first heard Luke saying, like, about having the Jedi end, I was thinking, like, oh, man, so probably he's gonna cause something much better with something different. Maybe the Gray Jedi or whatever.
Hang on a second,
and I got something
back
way
on the
better.
Xbox.
His cannibal's glitched. Wait, Hunter, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Wait, what happened to the match?
Hang on a sec. Sorry about that. My brother turned off the Xbox.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
you're
I'll fight you back. Sorry, my brother got angry with me.
Yeah, you're fine. Just come back when you're ready.
Just about ready. I'll send you an invite. Ugh.
Yeah, sure.
And this is why I don't play with them often. Oh, sorry about that, viewers. Just got into a bit of an argument with my brother. Should be fine now.
Alright, well, I at least hope, though, it is.
Oh, anyway, where were we?
We were just, shoot. last thing we were on was just only on the Marvel Scorsese stuff, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, yeah, I very much dislike how much. No, it was the last thing, which was about being surprised, though, a bit. Which is, yeah, I often don't like. This is why I don't really like whenever YouTubers, even a lot of the YouTubers I like, who also frequently do stuff like that, which is like what any sort of thing should have, needs to have, or whatever. And I'm like, come on, that's just like so restricting of your imagination. And that's why I went with The Last Jedi, though, where like very often I was trying to think as to what it could have that would make it interesting. And then when the movie came out, I felt it was way better than what I wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I kept myself in open mind so that I could make sure that
Yeah,
whenever it came out,
that's why
I was
I actually
going to
that's
really
actually
like it.
applied to Michael Gamble when he asked what people would like to see, and I just simply said, surprise me.
Which again is always the sort of mentality that I would just prefer having, though.
Yeah, it would be
because
nice.
I just don't really see.
Would have been nice to see some sort of like a remastered version of the trilogy. That would have been nice if you ask me. Other than that, yeah.
Apparently, based on EA's recent earnings call, they actually said that before, I can't remember if it was 2021 or 2022, they said before that they do have some remasters of beloved games coming by, so fingers crossed for a Mass Effect Trilogy remaster.
Yeah. Alright, sending you invite. Again, so sorry
Alright,
about the
waiting.
abrupt, like me abrupting the match.
Yeah, you're fine.
Right. In the meantime, let me close the door. Bart the cat kept it on the door.
Right.
There you go. Right. Got the invite?
Yeah, I did get it.
Right. You should be any moment now. I'll tap that down. Okay, I'll tap it down. Sorry about the sudden abruptness of the match.
Oh shit, did I think I hit B on accident? Damn it. Send me another one then. I think I hit B by accident because I was trying to select one of the other classes to at least see what they had, but end up picking the wrong one. End up clicking the wrong button.
Yeah, happens to everybody. I don't blame you. Oh, here's another thing that came to mind. Have you seen how have you seen the end event for Fortnite? That was crazy.
Yeah, I saw some of that though, and honestly, it was definitely really out there with what they did.
Yeah, that probably one of the craziest transitions from one map to another. Right, I sent the invite. You should be good now.
Yeah, accepting now.
Catching up on my friends. I got an idea.
So, how exactly did you level up your characters in this? I'm not sure how that works.
Basically, you gain experience and you go to, okay, hang on a sec, give me a sec, you go to, powers, underneath mission settings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you if I don't blame you, again, it's your first time, as you said. And, yeah, when is the last time you played Mass Effect?
Last time I played Mass Effect, I think it was like last year, where I was like replaying Andromeda because I was like, oh, that's what I feel like ended up doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I play with the multiplayer thing from time to time, and also Andromeda. Sorry, I'm a little shaken up.
By that conversation we had, or your brother?
My brother. Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay, that suddenly got. What else is there? I'm gonna look up on like Game Informer. I swear there was some. Oh shit. That reminds me. You heard what Blizzard did with one of their competitive players at Hearthstone because he said that free Hong Kong, revolution of our time.
Yeah, I know. From that though, and that whole controversy, of all the things that I've seen YouTubers criticize game companies for, that's one where I'm actually on the side of they were actually right to do the criticizing of, because
Agreed.
from that, yes, because from that, that's like very important stuff on all of that.
It
basically,
affects.
I mean,
it affects people. It
yes, because this is
legitimately-
something that's directly affecting people and also civil rights for that matter.
Civil rights in China, which have a much less clean record than United States. And
I mean,
yeah,
so yeah, that's just things like that though, where I just always for stuff like that, where at the very least, like that's something that's like, you know, that's actually way more of something worth criticizing. But in the case of something like a lot of these other ones, just because of microtransaction stuff,
I was like, I'm not gonna buy more of your stuff until this is resolved, and it was partially
heck,
did.
I still remember it was Game Over 30 who brought it up though, like when Yang Yao was trying to say about a pay-to-win loot box system, when just recently I've been playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and it's like, okay, well, it hasn't even been a month since launch, so there's no way they did any meaningful changes since then. And the only thing the store has is a program where you can send $10, which goes to organizations that help military veterans reintegrate into the civilian life.
That is that I really do support. That sounds like very worthy thing to do.
Sounds great on their end, but I mean, inevitably they're going to have other stuff on there. But so far, I'm not really seeing exactly what's to buy though. And the whole like, oh yeah, they're the loot box system that's going to force players to use that to get weapons, when that's not even close to how it is. It's pretty simple. You play with anything you're doing, you level up, and then if you hit the level, you get guns. The same way it's been in pretty much every single Call of Duty game ever.
Oh, I haven't played Modern Warfare.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare is really fun though. It can't have as frustrating moments as any of the multiplayer games had, but it was really fun though overall. I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, what about insane? I remember some controversy with some history efficient using like things played on the directions for a highway of death, and for the highway of death, based on an incident where the United States military caused civilian casualties.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well though. I haven't really I haven't played the campaign yet because I've been focused entirely on the multiplayer. But as far as it, yeah, I can definitely see where that would be coming from.
Yeah. Are you going to try out the single player mode yet?
I will soon though. It's just I'll get around to it eventually, and especially I have to make sure I do what I can with it because Fallen Order comes out next week, and that's going to be my full attention at least for the immediate future.
Oh, have you heard that you know that Fallout 76 has made a subscription model called Fallout First?
I heard of that, and at least from what I've seen the service offers, it's just a case of like, okay, so your argument is it doesn't have value, so why not just leave it at that?
Yeah,
no one's
it was a
forcing you
little,
to buy
it was fairly buggy, and I think they've fixed it rather quickly or fixed it in such a short amount of
Or
time.
when I was seeing those fear mongers that were saying like, oh, now that means 76 is not getting free updates anymore, but it's like, yes it is, they still quickly announced that.
I gotta admit, some of these subscription offers, like infinite storage for junk I scavenge, very nice. The ranger outfit, monthly Atom points, yeah, and private servers. Most of it, which are actually private. I don't understand why people were upset about it, especially when
I mean, it's just the thing where if it doesn't hold value, fine, but these people keep acting like whenever there's a thing that exists in a game, they pretty much have to have it.
Here's the dumbest thing that comes out of it. So apparently, when you are a subscriber to Fallout First, you get like unique icon on the map, which leads to a very weird form of class warfare. I'm not mad.
And what even makes me more annoyed about that whole situation, the people complaining about it don't even play this game.
It's
like I can promise you, Jim Sterling, Angry Joe, and all these other people, they're not even playing Fallout 76. So this isn't even a, oh my god, I'm an active player though, and this is something that concerns me. You're doing this for rage clicks. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So can you cut with this whole I'm a person who's concerned for the consumer? Because I can promise you, if the consumer feels just as you do, they're not going to buy it. It's that simple. You can't force gamers to buy things they don't want.
Yeah. Definitely. And
these people really can't seem to ever get that into their heads. You cannot, under any circumstances, force gamers to buy things they don't want to buy. And if they're buying it, it very clearly means they have value for it. I don't see the value in it. Yeah, I also don't see the value in spending hundreds of bucks for statues. But yeah, that makes one of us, doesn't it?
There's a difference between things that are working out financially at least, and briefly for like Fallout 76. It's enough to keep up whining about it for like months on end. Hell.
Again, it just always feels so disingenuous, though, because for it, it's very obvious to me that they don't really give a shit about the topic, but they're just only mentioning it because of rage clicks. Because again, though, like going with 76, though, I can promise you, these people don't even play the freaking game anymore. Yeah. They only just cover it.
I can see why people are not writing the game, but complaining about it months on end, like I said.
Like, I am really, when you demonstrate to me that that something is genuine, like say if you're an avid player and this is something that offends you, well, one, it still comes across to me as stupid to be offended over because you don't need to buy it. When I reserve my outrage for things that people can't avoid, such as like obviously 2008 with the house crisis where banks were straight up letting people have homes that they could not afford. See, that's something that's more of something worth criticizing.
And
something that involves this.
And what's his name? I'm sorry, I forgot the guy's name. It starts with a B. All right, let's get to the.
What
let's hear.
The person who
was banned for.
Who was it?
Here's something that's really messed up. They initially took back his winnings when he got banned, but they.
Oh, it's the Blitz champion. The guy you're talking. Yeah, now I know.
Yeah, and they somewhat took that back, decreased his ban from a year to 6 months, and gave him back his wings. Alright, game back's up. Too dangerous for you to.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to get to you. Yeah, it's just I'm currently injured as is.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Right here.
Where are you?
Oh, okay. I'm right by you.
Who revived you?
I have like medic, but they basically do self-revives.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that was, so like the things like that, because that's actually things that involve a lot of like real world stuff that actually affects people. But it's like, this is a subscription you don't have to get into, so that's why I never find myself being able to take it seriously when these people want to talk about like ethics and things.
Yeah, but if, on the other hand, if the service itself is a little buggy, that's probably to be concerned of, and I really do understand that.
I mean, things such as bugs and such are at least way more of it. But again, I don't really even take it seriously when the person covering it very clearly demonstrates that they don't really even play the game. I'm not talking about their casual players. I don't care about the hours that you play it. But I mean, when you demonstrate to me that you don't actually really play this game, so it demonstrates to me that you're doing this not because you care about it, but because you're just trying to get hate clicks. Look, I'm just a person who doesn't really talk about the stuff that I don't really like, though. If I end up not really caring about a game, I just don't talk about it. And so for these people who are going for it, like, it feels for me very much pretty much hypocritical, though, to try to talk about how, oh my god, I'm all about ethics and how people do things for money, and yet meanwhile, these people are doing things explicitly for money. There's no way you can talk about it beyond so you can make money. And it's also not a coincidence that these people who want to go on the defense of, oh, well, it's a news channel, though, I have to cover these things. except how coincidental that you mainly cover the games that you can quickly make bucks off of.
Yeah,
There is no way that there is a lack of positive news on there. I mean, a great example would just be Battlefront 2. I mean, when that game was coming out and its loot box controversy, oh my god, these guys were high over hills. It was pretty much a steady income for the next several months. But then when that ended up drying up, and when there was a lot of extra stuff, though, such as the game making the biggest resurgence ever, pretty much. I mean, maybe not the biggest in the game, but how big it was.
First of all, Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO, is on its way to make nearly $1 billion. And second,
I thought it actually reached that milestone already, but hey, anyways, good for them though. Oh yeah, and there was that though. And where was Angry Joe, Jim Sterling on to report about this? Oh yeah, they didn't though, because you can't exactly make rage bait off of, hey, the most successful Star Wars game, which was made by EA, by the way,
and Bioware,
and Bioware though,
and Bioware, which speaking of Bioware, have you tried out the new seasonal event for Anthem? Here's something really awesome. The Mass 16 costume.
I'll go check that out then, probably tomorrow then. But for it, I was like, yeah, for me, that's like, where was that? Oh yeah, it was Cricket. And same for Battlefront 2 though. Jim Sterling, more than happy to go and talk about Battlefront 2, where he could make money off of it. But then what happened when I was seeing lots of other people, such as Kotaku and Biz Insiders, who were ended up going inside of though, and were actually talking about how much the breakthrough and all the subsequent interviews were with these guys. Oh yeah, they were crickets because they couldn't make money off of it. So again, drop this whole shit about how you're super principled and looking out for the consumer. No, you're looking out for the consumer in so much as they can fill your pockets. If you're doing something for money, okay, I'm not going to really care so much. I may find the methods you find it scummy, but at the very least, be honest with it, instead of trying to tell me about how you're super principled and how you care about the little guy when you demonstrate not doing that.
Smiling. Speaking of Mass Effect, I actually got to get into a conversation with like someone mentioned on Nuance Gaming. Fortunately, I think that Bioware should stick by their guts, and I'm paraphrasing, so my apologies. So I've actually heard some takes that Bioware probably shouldn't have caved to the criticism and not release the extended cut. I do have to point out that a lot of people were really about how the ending originally turned out. If you think in a certain way, the extended cut DLC doesn't really kind of comes off as like a patch, like especially nowadays.
Which I don't really mind, and especially for that though. I mean, as far as I do find the extended cut to be better though, but I thought the original ending was serviceable like that.
I kind of regret being really anxious over how the game ended like all these years ago. It is really, I have to say,
I mean, it's just that from all these, though, it's just, again, I very much dislike how a lot of these gamers, though, and especially how they talk about how much they love everything in the company, and the moment that they release a game that they don't like, and are more than happy to talk about how they suck and they're evil. And it's just like, oh my god, guys, can you please just stop it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, they made one game over it. It's not the end of the freaking world. Stop acting like just one game that came out and disappointed you, and you take that so freaking seriously for God knows what reasons.
And I was like, I'm keeping my brother of the player's handbook, cover me.
Yeah, trying to.
It's right here. There we go. Sorry about that. Had to give my brother some DVD books. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
It's just only from those things.
Oh
it's
fuck!
what frustrates me when I end up seeing games like that. It's just how much they.
I have to say, I'm kind of. I'm actually kind of impressed that I made that. You there? Yeah, you definitely. Hey, that Hawkeye, you there? Oh.
Yeah, I'm here. Why? Can you not hear me?
But I actually definitely silenced my headphones.
What were you about to say?
It's just like I'm amazed that I have a tendency to like make it like just like so out of ow. Fuck, that means I have to go against the Atlas.
honestly, I am going to call it that when Dragon Age 4 ends up coming out and it becomes super well reviewed, and people being about how Bioware is back though. Oh my god, you guys
They
have
said
always
the
been
same
awesome.
thing about Inquisition.
What about Inquisition?
Well,
Keep in mind, I was not up to date on all that.
Yeah, with the controversy around, like, the Citadel DLC and the... Fuck. Hey, actually, do you mind carrying the package for me while I wreck everything I see inside?
Yeah, sure, I can do that. You have way stronger weapons than me anyway.
Yeah. And this time, you're the escort. I'm in the escort mission. Don't sprint.
Oh, so you can't sprint with it?
No, I should have warned you. I honestly should have warned you.
So much more sense.
I should have warned you. I'm really a guy. I should have warned you. Whoops.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Just gotta go in front of the other one. So yeah, I'm just gonna basically just grab the stuff and then you just pull them off for me. Oh shit.
Turret.
Yeah.
Fucking turret.
Engineer set up a turret.
All right. Clear off the turret. Actually, it's now weapons that are more powerful. It's still my ability. It's my ability. You ever wonder why I have a repair them so easily? That's why.
That freaking turret is like very good at shreds.
I know. That's actually a pretty common problem. Don't worry, I'm getting you patched up. Okay, I'm taking cover. I'll cover you. I'll get the package and I'll cover you. Okay.
All right. Yeah, sure. You can just hold them off.
I'll hold them off while you get the package. Quickly.
Shit.
Turret.
Yep, turret.
Oh shit! Oh! I couldn't get you in time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, there's only two of us, so don't think that's too much.
All right, I'm out of survival packs. That means I can't heal myself as much. Only way to heal myself fully is if I let myself get knocked down. And that's
At least I got the front turret, so that's good.
Yeah. Come on. Okay, got the Guardian. I swear, the guards are like the Vanguards are weakness. Shields. Okay, one down. Hey, stepping up. Oh, do you have any like favorite moments in the Mass Effect series that you like?
Yeah, it's just a friend is trying to call me, so I'm trying to see what it is that he needs.
Yeah, do you have any like favorite moments out of the series?
Not really. Hold up a second.
Yeah, be sure to use yourself if it's a private conversation. There we go.
Enemy is regrouping. Time to reload. Here they come. Understood.
Fuck.
Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I was just friendly just asked me to confirm some plans. So yeah, it turned out it was not something major.
Okay, okay. So anyway, favorite moments in the entire series? Like favorite moments out of the
I would say
movie.
favorite moments, largely probably in 3 though, which was largely in that between the invasion of Earth, just the entire, pretty much everything involving the romance between Shepard and Caden, basically Fem-Shep mainly, from all those scenes. Everything that was involving the Quarians in Mass Effect 3, like again, just like all that stuff. Like, Mass Effect 3 as a whole just has all my favorite moments, really. Mass Effect 2 definitely had more than my favorite share as well, especially the suicide mission.
Oh yeah.
I still remember the first time I played it, I got 3 of my teammates killed. Morden was the first one because I didn't know about the Morden that is supposed to be an attack expert, so I just put Morden on there, so I was like, okay, sure. So obviously he was killed. Then the second one, I remember it was like, I think it was, there was a second one though, I couldn't exactly remember who I put it for. I think it was Runt that I put it for, and because there was a third teammate, I think it was Tolly, who was killed in the sort of like last-ish cutscene basically. I think this is going to be my last match of the night. Yeah, so I did really bad because I didn't actually know as to how that suicide mission thing worked. So I was kind of just like picking whatever it seemed like, oh, okay, it would be fine. Like when it came to defending the door, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I should like I'm sorry. It's bad habit. Okay, so it was pretty devastating when you see your teammates die because of your choices. When I got Miranda killed too, when I at the Renegade Shepard, who did not give Miranda the intel. I say that's kind of devastating me. I tried to show before that point and gave her the intel instead. There were also some pretty profound moments. Tally breaking down in front of her father's body, and Shepard pulling off a paragon and up to hugger.
Some good work down there. Stay alert.
And when in 3, when you meet David, and where's the end conversation where Shepard asks, "What are you counting now?" and David replies, "The number of cases extended in life."
Fuck. That's like completely torn apart by something.
You hear what I said?
What?
That the number of days you extend in my life from David. Alright, last med pack, and if I go down, last med pack, 1 med pack left. Gotta be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the opening of Mass Effect 2. Especially when there's like when you step outside and expand into outer space, and there's nothing but Shepard's breathing and some vibrations when you put each step you take. That's, well, do put it one way, rest places. Do Keanu Reeves. There are so many moments. You ever pick your Gold Survivor? Not Survivor, Colonist, but when you make Shepard, when you miss Talda, and
Let's go.
one way is to like she's supposed to say sedative gently, and you say when you wake up, you'll be in it was pretty. It has a lot of profound moments. And there's more, and when you press Morden about why he changed his mind on the genophage, if you don't go down a certain path, and Morden flat out yells out, "I made a mistake." There are so many.
Yeah, I always have that where when I do first playthroughs on any new game, where I pretty much seem to make a lot of the big mistakes that are there, and then on subsequent playthroughs, I just make sure not to do that.
Power the role-playing game, eh? So, yeah. I'm really looking forward to what comes next. Oh, you mentioned this is your last match?
Yeah, that was my last match for this one.
Yeah, it was short.
That was honestly super fun, though. We should definitely play this again, though, so, like
Yeah.
in the next stream, even.
Yeah, we should play the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, maybe even Andromeda's multiplayer more often.
Yeah, we should.
Oh, and
That
by
was
the way,
actually
the
super
more
fun, though.
if you do well in multiplayer, it actually affects your file's galaxy readiness.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
It's
I mainly just improved that through the website, though. But even still, it's
Yeah.
great to have that.
it gives like an incentive, like do better if you're having a little bit of trouble.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Something that actually seems a little that actually lacks in Dragon's Inquisitions and Andromeda's multiplayer. Well, Andromeda sort of you just get like bonus goodies in for Rider to unlock.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh, and a couple fun things to wrap out on. Hilda from Soul Calibur, who first appeared in Soul Calibur 4, will be appearing as a DLC in Soul Calibur 6 as part of the second season.
Who will be?
Hilda, the female character with the spear and the short sword, is the de facto queen of a fictional kingdom called Wolfguard. I think. I need to catch up on my stuff.
That actually sounds really awesome.
Yeah, and mostly, you know that most of the female characters in Soul Calibur tend to wear less than wholesome outfits. They're skimpy,
Yeah,
and some
I'm
of them have
aware.
big boobs. Is what I'm trying to say. Well, in contrast,
Yeah.
Hilda, well, she may have a bit of a bust. It has it's very modest in her outfits, full armor for most of her stuff, and a very elegant dress in her alternative outfits. Though in her recent, though in her Soul Calibur 6 incarnation, she has like a breastplate, boot plate thing. Still covers her skin at least, but I hope her armor is more ceremonial than practical. Otherwise, what can you do?
Pretty much. All right, then. Well, gonna log off
Yeah.
for that. It was certainly really fun to have our conversation, and let's
Yeah,
definitely try
and
to do
again,
this
sorry about
sometime soon.
what happened between me and my brother earlier. Though my brother coming in the second time went much better. He was just looking at some D&D. He just needs a couple of D&D books. Thank God. Right. It's been fun, man. It's been great being
Yeah,
back, and we should do
definitely.
this more. And yeah, we really should be doing this more often. And yeah.
And definitely playing Mass Effect stuff there. But for our December stream, whenever we do that, obviously in
Or
preparation
the
for
next
the
time
two
or
major
maybe
updates.
next week, or maybe next week.
Because actually, you may not know, but the update for Battlefront 2 that would be in November actually got moved to December, so we're instead getting 2 content updates. So I would say like around Rise of Skywalker time, well, I would say probably after that second update drops, we should probably do a play and talk session with that new content in mind.
Yeah, but we would like to do like more play and talk next week and stuff. Especially since we really want to play more Mass Effect.
Yeah, we'll try to do next week. Yeah, I'm just saying like in the future, like when December comes in, like we should probably do something there to sort of go with in line with it.
Yeah. In the meantime, have a good night, and I'll see it. Have a good night, everybody. And good night to you, Shylock. Thanks for playing. Are you there?
Yeah, good night, and yeah, I'm here, and good night to you guys, and then see you next time.
Yeah. Toodaloo!